Alrighty then. Welcome everyone to Dynasty the Podcast Show. I am your host, Ira Thomas Bliss the fourth. And this is, I don't know what to say, man. It's a great day, man. A lot of things has been happening. Um we're not gonna do too much today. I gotta be out early today, so it's gonna be a 20 to 30 minute show. So it's gonna be, it's gonna be a lot of great information, a lot of positive things that happened today. I've had my tunnel vision on today. I just want to say, man, I appreciate everybody tuning in. Shout out to my family, the little bit of people that listen and try their best to get the message out that I'm trying to put out there in the atmosphere and out there into the universe. I don't really have time. I always say like this, when somebody try to put it to delay you, you gotta try to, you gotta go around that hurdle and you got to figure it out. Hopefully the decision that I made today and that I've been working on for the last week and a half or so it pans out. I'm gonna try my best to stay in this area, in the DMV area. I got family here. Hopefully I reconnect with the right people and I make the right connections. I'm a single black male. I got strong people in Florida that I still want to, stay connected to as well. So, I'm not trying to come out here and disappoint nobody in my family or, people that, care about me. So, the opportunity that I'm gonna wait till everything, is official. So, the process it will be, it's another step forward. A big step forward today that's gonna happen after I leave here. And I don't mind, I've been preparing for these type of situations, and I already am prepared for these situations that how I move around. Everything is in a 2 mile radius. So, if you're from Florida, you know what the 2 mile radius rule is. You don't have no bus ride, you do not have no bike. You had to walk them 2 miles and you had to walk them 2 miles back. That's the first thing I learned going to elementary school. We didn't have a bus. We had to walk them 1 mile and a half, 2 miles up the street to get to school. So it's not a big deal. I don't stress the things. No, I'm not intimidated by change. I'm not intimidated by speaking in public or none of that. These the things that I already prepared for. So, hopefully with the right people, paying attention and the people that so called have control, that all those negative demonic forces that are trying to come against, deteriorating my spirit or deteriorating my body, whatever kind of way they got it, I'm trying my best to get in position so y'all see that I'm not working for the wrong side. And I'm trying to pull my people that's connected to me on the correct side of, prosperity, wealth, and healthiness, and abundance. So, this is the side I'm trying to work on. This is what I'm always gonna be working on. I'm a young man and I'm not getting younger. I have a young child, I have young nieces and nephews. I speak on this all the time. And we just try to build on that. I got a mom that I want to make sure she enjoys her senior years and be able to travel at least, because she's not one of those people that's not, she's not a lame person. She's a very vibrant person. So I want to continue to build, to work on those things as well. And the rest goes on. I got other family members. I hope they get it, got the same kind of the same kind of message that we start off when we was younger, that we continue to build on these things. And that's pretty much it. With that being said, it's not even a lot that I'm gonna speak on. I'm finna pivot from speaking too negative about the way the system is still trying to go back into, slave time, and they try to revert back to, the beginning where they was considered a black and brown person, one third of a person, and they enslaved all the natives and enslaved and brought all, and still called, they put in the books, they say they enslaved African slaves, but it probably was an agreement to help build this land up. But they traded them improperly, which is what the United Nations is trying to correct and be precise on how they speaking on these things, which is already documented several places. But so many people tell the wrong story. So many people tell stories that are so evil and heinous, and then they practice all these things throughout the 250 years of United States of America. And they got people from European countries still wanting to belittle people that are stronger and more powerful than them. But I'm not going to speak on that today. I'm going to speak on, I call it the sundown time zone. And it's gonna be very short, like I said today. I don't have much time. Now I'm here I'm in the DC area right now. So they have this rule for, they've been playing it over and over. So this is clearly what they're playing over and over is that the children, the young adults from age, I would say they say teen, so teen will be 13 to 18 basically, because you're considered an adult after 18 everywhere in the United States. You're not a full grown though. You can't go out and drink and stuff, but you can do whatever you want. Consider doing whatever you want after 18 without parent permission or whatnot. So they have this rule right now where the children have to be in at 8 o'clock. It's a certain zone in the area. And then what the historic thing was going on when they let free the slaves was there are specific parts of the United States and areas and states and cities where there could not be a African American outside when the sun goes down. And this is what I mean by these people reverting back to the wrong kind of things and the wrong kind of trickery and wrong kind of mental manipulation. Okay, this is what's crazy about it, cause like I'm from a state, my parents, where I was growing up, I talk about this all the time. I had people that are older than me. I had people that my friends were, they weren't no, they w- oh, I want because they wasn't weak people. You know what I'm saying? They was very, active on sports side. We was not, we wasn't looking for trouble or not like that, but we kind of like we had fun. We enjoyed our time outside and we try to do everything in competitive way in a competitive nature. And I was outside by the time I was 9, 10 years old, fourth and fifth grade. I was outside because our neighborhood was so tight. I was outside 11 o'clock, 11:30 all the time on the weekdays because my parents, my mom, she was a single mom, but like I said, the neighborhood was so tight. We all was outside. We all went in at the same time. It was that cool. Everybody went to school on time. We didn't miss days. Some people, ain't school type people, but it was very rare when we still ended up in school. But put it like that, nobody missed school. Everybody got their grades. Mostly everybody probably don't graduate. I consider probably 90% of us have the diplomas, and everybody's still basically alive from our neighborhood. That little area that I'm talking about, and it was very tight. And what they trying to do is revert back to the wrong thing, the wrong tactics. They got mad, it was a big old fight, I guess, and they trying to make it like it's like whoever it was, and I'm not taking the side because it was, when you get when you lose a fight or it's more than one person that hit you in a fight, they consider that jumping them. But you could have been the one starting with somebody that you weren't supposed to start with. It's just one of those situations, two sides to each story. And these people telling their story over and over on the news, which is improper. I don't want nobody to get hurt, but he survived. He's a young man. Fights happen all the time. I got in one fight in high school. They sent me to a secondary school. You know what I'm saying? It's like some people have real strength in them, or the trajectory or what they have in them. They want any little thing, they're gonna put you back down. They want to try to put you back down to something less than a man. And this is the stuff that these tactics that they're doing is incorrect. So, I don't agree with how they trying to, it was supposed to be a temporary rule, but they trying to make it permanent. And it's just specific areas in the Washington D.C. area because where they were, all the kids go and leak up on the weekends, and I don't see nothing wrong. That stuff that happens in every city, every town, in all 50 states. It's places like that. So I don't know why they trying to go the outs route. What they need to do is be more secure. Have they little, they got all these people being they put down to secure all these old people, and they don't need no security. What they need to do is turn themselves in for their heinous activity that they was practicing, that they was out here doing and committing, instead of trying to make it more rules, try to make it go back to slave time, like I've been speaking on for so long. And I'm trying my best. Like I said, the stuff that I'm working on, it's not. It's back to the progress of what I was working on. I'm not trying to have no shortcuts. I want people to understand that I ain't trying to shortcut nobody. People can be intimidated by me actually working on myself, and I'm always working on myself. I have a child. This is what I keep preaching. I don't want her to look down and be like, "What my dad doing? What my father doing?" You know what I'm saying? What he, I know how I move in the state of Florida. Trust, like I said, I got to come up here just to tell them about the inconsistent ways that they trying to deem people less than, or who's supposed to have money in their pockets because somebody's mad. Like it's just little why they taxing me because this or that, just any little thing. I speak on it all the time. I spoke it on the last year. I've been doing this podcast and we're gonna continue to speak on it. Now, what I would say, I would not be able to speak so freely if I'm in a position of coach for a team. You know what I'm saying? I would like to have my own program, my own facility, but I'm not gonna take another year off as a coach. I'm not gonna take another year off as getting these people to understand what they need to be preparing for. Besides the sports they playing, besides the education they have been teaching over 250 years, that the education system is, and they trying to dismantle that. We spoke on that last months ago as well. So, and they tried to take all the funding out. It was that bill. Whatever they was trying to do. We got to all these rules. All these rules and regulations. They want to change the name. They want to put a Caucasian signature next to it. All that stuff happened because they want to isolate who gets credit for what. Somebody already made the rule. Somebody already put the program in. They don't like who put in. They don't like the name that's behind the program half the time, 90% of the time now. So it's that type of thing. We had the Obamacare. They want to change it to the Donald Trump care kind of situation. We got I seen on the news yesterday. We got Obama bringing his building his library with a basketball court. Then Donald Trump, he's trying to build a library in Miami. It's like anything you could do, I could do better situation. You probably wasting money. You don't even know what that center is one of the most. I don't even know what that center got in it. You just got Donald Trump up there. You know what I'm saying? They ain't put no details in it. They just want to see that they mad because he got his detailed, know what it's for, know what it's about. All this and that was planned out. So it's just one of these situations that everything need to stop wasting time, stop trying to compete in the stupidest ways. Make sure you are closing out. Make sure you know who your enemies are. Don't attack the wrong people or the wrong forces. Stop trying to create division inside the United States that don't need to be there. We supposed to be progressing, not degressing. And that's just the message I'm trying to put in. I don't got time. I got to come to the top, supposedly the tippy top of the United States, and actually put my what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm continuing my process. I don't mind people. I don't think it's gonna be any backlash for real from where I'm from. I don't think I'm going to that route. Hopefully, the people, the people that's from this area don't take it as offense that I'm trying to take anybody's position. And I don't have time. I would not judge you. I come use the facilities and amenities that's given, just like any public person that's here and is from this country. I'm not taking it. Like I said, I'm not trying to take nothing out of nobody's mouth type of situation. Hopefully, I get received well here. I have not been here long enough to even, it ain't nothing to be, I have a very open space for it to communicate and to build in this area. So I just want that same kind of reciprocation when I speak and I come into buildings. I don't want no I don't want to be deemed something that I'm not. Just go off what you when you shake my hand and you have a conversation with me. And the stuff that I put out in my podcast and whatever resume or cover letter I give to the people that I'm exchanging with, that's all I could go off of. I ain't ashamed of nothing I've done in Florida. I had a great coaching career. I've done great in the jobs that I work, and I'm not bad at nothing I did. I got a great family still. I got the reference I have are still high level references. I don't sugarcoat nothing really. They don't sugarcoat it neither. I don't want no one lying for me. And then that's how it's gonna go. And then, it's like I said, it's a short day. So that I'm gonna end it. I'm gonna end it on the sundown type of thing. What needs to be done is they need to drop that situation. Now, the fact that we right here in the Capitol and they speaking on this every day, and when I say they play it over and over, they play at least 20 minutes of that clip every time I watch that news. I sit there in the morning, they play that clip 10 times. And that's a minute, that's 10 to 15 minutes every day, every time that the news happening. Every news outlet, every time Channel 5 Fox, they play that clip back to back to back to back to back, and they trying to run a story. It's the straw man story right now in Washington, D.C. They need to focus on stop going out here trying to cover things up. The men that's supposed to be in charge need to step up. They need to not dwell on the negative. They need to not dwell whoever's supposedly on the underground in charge or in the buildings that's in charge or whatever y'all want to go about it, shadows or whatever is going on. Step up. Learn that you need to be have self-control at this point because it's a lot of change that's supposed to be happening. And then people wanted to stay the same. People want to belittle the younger men, but they're not teaching them how to grow. So we trying to teach people how to grow, especially the people that's still in grade school. I want that message to be known. So, I just want to know that sundowns, that rule, that don't need to be implemented permanently. That's one of the dumbest thing I've seen. I'm not in agree with. I was gonna be real petty. If I'd have had more time today, I was gonna look up all the stuff where people got killed for being outside after the sun went down. And I was gonna be petty because it was several cases that happened in the slave time and in the segregation time in the 50s and the 60s. That stuff was happening still. So we're gonna speak on it very lightly. I'm asking y'all real nicely, the news people. Let it go. Start find a news story. Go get some details. Work on stories that can help your community. It's all about the energy that you putting out. It's so much positive stuff that happened today. Now I'm gonna end it today because I liked what went on. I'm unfortunately I'm not all the way in the school board yet, or the school that I'm gonna, hopefully I'll be, assigned to, or have dealings with. I would say this: they had something about working with the community and education, and then that communication level, which is what I was talking about before I left Florida, which is why I had to come to Washington D.C. because it's basically an issue every state. It's how you approach these things, and I ain't gonna get my notebook out. It was a company that was over it. I'm gonna have to do more research on them before I would promote them or anything, because they gave me the rundown. Oh, you didn't come through a school, and these the people we work with, but this is a session that's open and yada yada yada. But it's the community. Y'all coming here about bringing parents and the school functions together and being able to communicate. This is what they was talking about. So me as a parent, even if I'm not even if and I'm a coach. Like I'm a real when you're a coach, you teaching something. So I've taught so many things. I've taught more than the sports. You know what I'm saying? I could be a substitute teacher in every state now. The Florida just cleared me up for my however many credits I got. So I could be a substitute teacher in Florida. I could be a I'm pretty sure I could be a substitute teacher in Washington, D.C. Just how they the education system in Florida is way more elevated than the education system here. Not saying that these people are not smart or intelligent, but I think they do a lot of stuff based in private school, and then do a lot of stuff based because they want people to have trades. They focus a lot of energy on trades. If you're an athlete, you stay in school, you go ahead and do it. This is what I'm looking for. The little bit of time I've been here, not a negative thing. That's more of my mindset is make sure you do something that you're great at, and then everything will sprays out. You'll earn. You could work on other things. It's like a tree. When you grow, you keep growing, and you have fruits from all your labor that you've been working on your craft. And I preach that to my children and our family, and it's gonna be the same thing over. So that's all I was saying. Be a little bit open minded. And I'm not coming here to. I like the people that were speaking there. Trust and believe they had the 4 people that was up there speaking with some powerful people in this area. So, I like the moderator. I like the 3 people that was getting asked the questions and all that. I wanted to ask she cut because when I was about to ask the question, I already know what I'm at with it because I came in late, so it's like she read my mind. I was like, bing, I was gonna ask, I was like, well, I ain't tripping, the stuff will happen for me. I'll do more research on the program that hosted this event, and it was kind of that situation. But it was cool. I appreciate that. It was teachers in the area that was, asking questions for more people that was over, certain parts of the education system in the DC area. So it was cool. I like that they had that event here. and it was at the library as well, so it was cool. And that's it for politics, community outreach. Like I said, I got a meeting coming up that's basically community outreach, something big that I want to be doing. Not as mandatory for everybody to know, but I'm excited about it still. Now to close it out, baseball is back. Basketball is coming to playoff time. Couple weeks, the NFL draft. I just want to say shout out to all the athletes. Even if you heard about the stuff that I speak on, or you a former player of mine, or coach somebody. I want y'all to know, man, just stay motivated. Don't look at these people that's over here in broadcasting as the people that's leading you. They're not the leaders of political world or investment or nothing. These people are trying to get a check still. So they might crisscross you just to get somebody else that they care about more, just because they got the platform and they don't care about your true situations. I'm not in the business of media for that. I'm in the business to God still. When they try to take me out the game on football because somebody's jealous of me, or like I speak on this stuff all the time. I put so much game in my players. These people don't even trip about sports. You feel me? They all know how to earn in a whole different way. Most of them, 70 to 80% of them, if not more. And I've been doing this since I was volunteering at 16, coaching at 18. I talk about it all the time. Just stay the course. Make sure your intellectual was protected. Make sure you had the right women around you. And if you got children, make sure you take care of your children. And everything will come to fruition if you do the right thing by your family. So that's it. Shout out to my people. And you know how I go. Anybody that's social elite elite association, I appreciate you. And keep doing what y'all do. That's it for today. This is Dynasty the Podcast Show. I'm your host, Ira Thomas Bush the Fourth. We'll be back tomorrow, hopefully. Like I said, stuff getting picked up busier by the day. This is why it's a little bit shorter show. I got in here a little late, but it's all good. Everything gonna work out. I promise you that. I promise you, I'm not to the most high take me send me to a different level. And I don't feel like that is no time soon. I know it's forces out there that don't want me to speak, but I'm not stunning them neither. I want people to actually figure out who's supposed to be going against them in the correct way, and then we all gonna elevate. That's all gonna be. So then shout out to everybody. I appreciate you. We'll be back hopefully tomorrow. And I'm your host, Ira Thomas Mr. Ford. This is Dynasty the Podcast. Good. See y'all later.